Good morning, everybody. My name is Sonia Zaragoza, and I am going to share about a screen. I'm going to tell you about an inspirational idea that fits very well with what we have just heard, emergencies. I'm going to start with these photographs from Galicia. In Galicia, every year, in spite of COVID pandemics and being in 2021, we suffer devastating fires that burn hundreds of hectares in our forests, and every year civil protection services suffer great risks. Every year we lose lives due to these fires. Every now and again we also have train derailments due to geography, and hundreds of people are affected by them. And of course, we also have emergencies at sea. This is due also to the fact that we are in a north-west corner of Spain. There's a lot of sea traffic that goes towards Europe, and the waters of the Atlantic are quite rough, quite choppy. Our shores have the highest cliffs, second highest cliffs in Europe, and this causes emergencies. Here you can see a photograph of volunteers collecting the fuel from the Prestige. That's why we call this coast the Death Coast. What happens after these fires is floods that enter our villages and cities, and this causes great losses, economic losses, loss of human lives. It affects also the fishing.
This is where the University of La Coruña and the municipalities in the area we have decided to work on the civil protection with the idea of having better civil protection for the future, much more advanced than the current one. We are thankful for their actions, but we can do better. We have created a chair where we are all part of to work together, and in this chair we work on four main axes. The first is international collaboration. We think that it is important. Also, training since childhood, as Marina said in her talk. Building a civil society for the future that will depend on the training and education of our children, because they are the society of the future. We will see that catastrophes usually, or disasters, have several dimensions. It's not only enough to have a good civil protection service. Civil protection is composed by citizens, but we need to understand what the rules of how wildfires work before we can extinguish them. Research is key to. We have a lot of technology at our disposal. We have many mechanical devices to improve prevention and to avoid the loss of human life, the loss of animal life and forests. But we also need to work on a different aspect, university training. Professionals that are going to work in team management, there's no university training for them. That's something scarce in Spain, and in Galicia for the first time we have created a degree. We will see afterwards how we are going to organize it to start with good quality education. I'm going to start with education of children. That's education for the future. As you are probably aware of, we are all paying close attention to the situation in La Palma. There's a volcano which is launching lava every day, and we have to evacuate thousands of people constantly, and there are thousands of people who are collaborating to help with this situation. Catastrophes usually are not, or disasters are not usually small, and they require some kind of social training. To the right, we see a human change in order to extinguish some fires and save properties, houses. That's the only thing that many people have. But without training, these people put their lives at risk, and also the lives of people in charge of extinguishing the fire, and who have to take care of people who want to extinguish the fire without training. We can change that, and we are working on that. Part of this dimension and scale, this is something that has been shown by COVID-19. This was a global health emergency regarding of our country, and regardless of our language, we all had to stay home to cooperate to stop the virus. This is a sign of where the civil protection in the future must focus on. In our case, we've put the focus on children, and we've elaborated some training materials for their own protection, and also for them to see how they have to behave in the case of a disaster, how they need to behave, because that is key to save their own life and the life of others. I'm going to show a video which summarizes this first year of work with 2 schools in our area, which helped us to implement this civil protection training for young people. We've given children small boxes with different training materials so that they can learn. They had to carry out several drills, but it's usually training materials that they like drawing, small robots. So first they learned how they had to organize, but then there was a drill. In the videos, as you can see, they had to call the firefighters. They had to call 112. That's the emergency phone number in Spain. And also, there was an event to thank them for their involvement, because children are going to be the civil protection of the society, of our society in the future. We are quite thankful to these schools for their support, and we will keep on with these programs because we think they have been fruitful. Secondly, international cooperation. At the University of La Coruña, we have a European project called CRISPR, Security and Protection Through Knowledge Synergies. There are 9 countries involved. Slovakia, which are the leaders of the program, and in this year, it's been quite an interesting year. We have created a cloud platform where everyone can upload their cases of emergencies to see how we have managed them. We are learning from each other. Of course, in Galicia, our geography has nothing to do with the Finnish geography. In Finland, they have different kinds of emergencies. But the way that they have created these ways of managing them, even if we do not have so much snow as they have, but there are similar things which are quite enriching for everyone. We are organizing several events. The project finishes next year, but we will keep on with that because it's been quite fruitful. It's a public platform, crispro.eu, and here you can have a look at all the work that we are doing, both in terms of research and field work. We are also collaborating, as I said, in research, in this case with the SHEGA, the emergency unit in Galicia. You can see Marcos Araujo, the head of that unit, with the head of our unit. We are trying to implement several research projects to help evaluate the risks and manage them. Here we are talking about the use of artificial intelligence for automated call procedures. When there's an emergency, there are usually many calls related to the same emergency, but it's important not to collapse phone lines. For instance, in the case of a heart attack, we only have 7 minutes to act, but with artificial intelligence, we could manage many more phone calls. We can also use images. Images have much more information than phone calls, and it allows us to quantify resources much quickly. If the roof of an industrial site has collapsed, we can see how many ambulances we need, how many people are needed. That's better than working with just a phone call. Same thing about wildfires. If there's no phone network, we can have no communication. That's a problem we have in the digital area. The main problem we have is in terms of legislation. There's an important effort in terms of legislation, both regarding this and private alerts sent to mobile phones. That is something that is done in Japan. When there's an emergency, people received a text in their phones, as we received with the COVID situation, where they are told what to do and when. Organizing the evacuation of thousands of people with just loudspeakers, that's more difficult. So people could be organized in a better way, and we could prevent losing lives in order to avoid a cascade emergency. The legal framework in Europe is still a work in progress. Same thing regarding the voice emotional state detection. Sometimes there are other issues, not only regarding civil protection. For instance, drug traffickers use them to block resources. So this is something that we need to work on. And also digital twins in terms of wildfires, to do a prediction of where the wildfire is going to extend. When wildfires start, if there's a change in the direction, they can trap families, houses, and also members of civil protection. And that's something that we can prevent with new technology. Let's try to prevent losing human lives, and let's try to be much more efficient when managing disasters like this. There's a lot of room for improvement, and as Marina said, there are also possibilities to fund these changes. Also, in terms of university training, what is the situation with disaster managers? We need to improve here. The approach must be multidisciplinary. At the University of La Coruña, some courses are going to be offered this year to focus on the legal framework. There's a health module, also, of course, disaster management. Together with research and development, we understand that we can prepare the civil protection for the future with an advanced framework that has a bigger budget, over 1,000 million euros. That's something that we have to learn. Thank you. Thank you also to FEIGUA for this opportunity to expose this project, which is so interesting for us. Thank you.